I say give Greta some respect, because I am. She attempted to try to play in the big league at whatever age she is, 16ish. She tried to play in the big league and she made the big league. So if she gets treated as though she's in the big league, let's show her some respect. She got there fair and square. Of course, she had lots of help from adults and stuff, but it's not like anybody else got there. I mean, she still had to be Greta to take advantage of the help from the adults. It didn't happen by itself. All right, I know you want me to talk about Greta. So Greta Thunberg has been selected as Time's Person of the Year. Now, a lot of you are saying, what? What? It should have been somebody else. How can they put her on there? But let me explain something about how Time picks the Person of the Year. What they say they do is they pick the person who has the most influence. So it doesn't mean that they're good or bad. It could be Hitler. But it has to be somebody who has the biggest influence on the world. Now, is that really how they pick it? No. That's what Time magazine tells you. What they say publicly is we're picking the person who's just had the most impact. That's not why they do it. They do it to sell magazines. Who is the best pick for selling Time magazine and making you talk about Time magazine? Greta. Greta makes you argue. Greta makes it a headline. If it had been somebody boring that was not, controversial in one way or another, you wouldn't care. They would get no free publicity. So when you see Greta on the cover of Time, the frame you should put on it is that Time magazine is taking advantage of Greta's, divisive ways, because that's what gets you the most press. So do not think that Time is complimenting Greta. They are simply using her for their marketing purposes, which is what the Time Person of the Year is. So it's not like they chose this one case to use somebody for their marketing purposes. That's just that's the normal process. Whoever they pick is for their internal marketing purposes. So President Trump tweeted about this. I think the president always thinks he should be on the cover of Time magazine, and I would argue that he probably should be. If you really were picking the most influential person, it would just be, Trump every time. But of course, Time needs to, mix it up. So the president tweeted about Greta being on Time magazine. He said, quote, "So ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem. Then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill." All right, I read that first thing in the morning when I first woke up, and I laughed and cried for about 5 minutes. Now, the thing that's funny, and all the trolls, of course, come out, but the thing that's funny is not that he's making fun of Greta. It's not that. It's the way he says it, and the fact that he says it at all from the office of the president. If any one of us said this same tweet, it wouldn't be that interesting, right? It would just be somebody on the internet complaining about something. It's the fact that it comes from the president of the United States that makes it hilarious, and I can say with confidence that he knows that. In other words, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what reaction this is going to get. So as tweeting goes, one of the best. Now, not to be outdone, Greta's profile on Twitter was immediately updated. Now, many of you are tweeting at me this morning saying, it's not Greta who updated that. We don't know what she's thinking, but she has some adult working on her social media. So it was some adult who decided to change her profile to say the following. A teenager working on her anger management problem. Currently chilling and watching a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Very well done, Greta or your handlers. So I'm going to say A+ troll tweet from President Trump. about Greta, and I will say an A-plus reaction by either Greta or her handlers, whoever does her social media. But I imagine Greta approved it. I can't imagine they would put that up there without Greta giving it the thumbs up. So I'll give her the credit. Tim Pool makes the following good observation. Talking about Greta, he says that he tweeted this, scowling at people saying, "How dare you?" and talking down to them results in people doubling down in their opposition to you. That is scientifically correct, Tim Pool. When you insult people and try to change their minds, don't expect to change their minds, because the insult is really the end of the conversation. As Tim goes on to point out, you have to develop a rapport first, then you can offer a solution. I call it pacing and leading, but it's the same thing. Then Tim says, Greta is divisive, angry, spoiled, mean, and condescending. Well, I don't know if she's all that, but she comes across as all that. So I can't see inside her heart or her mind or her gut, says Joe Biden. But we can certainly conclude that people are receiving it that way. Here's my take. And of course, all the trolls are coming after me because I'm making fun of a minor. How dare I? How dare I make fun of a minor? How dare I? The dumbest comment I got, because analogies are stupid, somebody said, Scott, would you be mocking if Barron Trump, would you mock Barron Trump? You mock Greta. So Scott, if you would mock Greta, would you not mock Barron Trump? What's the difference, Scott? What's the difference? Well, there is a difference, Dale. Barron Trump is not trying to influence a multi-trillion-dollar world-altering budget. If he does, if you ever see Barron Trump sail across the ocean and talk at the UN and try to influence a multi-trillion-dollar budget, you can expect that I will come down pretty hard on Barron Trump. But do we expect Barron Trump to do anything that stupid? No, we don't. We expect Barron Trump to live a private life, and like Melania says, leave him alone. He's just trying to live his life. He's just a kid. Leave Barron alone. But any kid who's 16 and trying to change the world and involved in politics and in the biggest issue and playing on this level, I say she's playing in the big leagues. And in my opinion, those who are saying, Scott, you have to go easy on her because she's a minor, I don't think you're showing her enough respect. She made it to the big league by being able to play in the big league, right? She made it to the big league because she can play in the big league. Somebody says she's 16, but I'm seeing people in the comments saying she's 13. I don't believe that's true. And we'll need a fact check on that. But I'll also like to add into the thinking a theory that I heard from someone who shall remain nameless, that there's a good possibility she's older than her published age. There's a good possibility. I'm not going to say that's true, but you cannot rule out the possibility that she's a little bit older than her stated age, which wouldn't be surprising because she's operating at a higher level. So I say give Greta some respect, because I am. She attempted to try to play in the big league at whatever age she is, 16-ish. She tried to play in the big league and she made the big league. So if she gets treated as though she's in the big league, let's show her some respect. She got there fair and square. Of course she had lots of help from adults and stuff, but it's not like anybody else got there. I mean, she still had to be Greta to take advantage of the help from the adults. It didn't happen by itself. So let's show her some respect and I think she can take a joke. Her profile change suggests that she at least approved it, I'm sure. So she can take a joke. She's playing in the big league. We can gently. I do think we should be gentle because age is not irrelevant. She is at a tender age, but we can have some fun. We can disagree. We can poke at her at the way people poke on Twitter. I wouldn't go, you know, super hard at it, but I think you can have some fun with it the same way the president did, and apparently she can handle that.